Hello everybody, welcome in. I'm Algorithmore. This is more Stormgate, and this is featuring jayxp123. Playing the Ren Vanguard today, overcharging his servos to go out for a little bit of a command post expand here. But his opponent, playing in the Inferno faction, this is Senegalo Ruskov. And if you've been following some of the Droptimus Cup games on my channel, you will have seen that these two played a series. But this is just a ladder match. Played out maybe last week sometime. Been sitting in my replay folder for a little bit. And we see Senegalo doing that scouting trick where you turn your first brute into a couple fiends, send them across the map. Not only does it give you some scouting information, but you might be able to kill a servo here. Let's see if the servo goes down. That servo stays alive and one fiend gets killed. Wait a second, the Lancer takes one swipe at a servo and that was a mistake. But, you know, if it's your first day on the job, you might not know who's the enemy and who's not. Get a little panicked, take a swipe at a servo. Your commander tells you, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. Little lumber imp over here. Got 3 of them. There we go. Dropping the rest just as the Lancer shows up to be like, ah ha ha. But the imp frees himself, saves himself as the fiend chases the Lancer away. And that Lancer's going to go soak up the Wellspring for a second, get a couple hit points back, and join up with his buddy and come over. That lumber imp really wanted to get all the trees. Really wanted to clear it down. Sometimes you only see them clear 4 or 5 of the trees. Going for the effigy. Now the effigy robs Senegalo of the opportunity to go expand over there easily or more quickly. And of course also robbing these brutes of some healing. Now the brutes could turn around and go to the Wellspring there. We did have a single fiend come in. I wonder if he got a servo or 2. It's unlikely because servos are fairly hard to kill, especially with just a single fiend.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Third Lancer shows up. And they were hanging out in the Wellspring just to heal up a wee bit. But they're going to go over here for the Stormgate. One of them is heading into the main. And I like this if Senegalo moves his army out, which he hasn't yet. And the Lancer's just coming back, I guess, thinking, hey, you didn't come contest me, so I'll just take the Stormgate for free. Let's see what he gets. I'm thinking Faerun is pretty obvious, but no, we get a... Is that a Soul Forge, it looked like? And we popped out 2 extra hedgehogs. And they come find this fiend. The fiend is gone. Lancers and hogs. Now, this is going to come down to a micro battle, and I really think that Jay has a bit of a upper hand here. His Lancer's getting ahead, getting on top of the Gaunts. Nice splitting of the Gaunts from Senegalo so that the Lancers can't just kill them all at once. Nonetheless, there's a lot of units here. The front line of Lancers are about to go down. That means the Hedgehogs are a little more vulnerable now. They're still there, and they're going to go toe-to-toe with these Gaunts. Good focus fire from both sides as they're trying to pick off single units. Jay coming out on top here, able to now put down harass on the shrine. Senegalo trying to rush out here, putting the curse down on a bunch of hedgehogs, but look at them as they just rush into the Wellspring there, heal up again. And again, nice little micro moves from Jay to pull the weaker ones back. And now just hanging out in the Wellspring to heal up. Here comes a Weaver, and the Weaver's going to be able to snatch at least one of those hedgehogs in with her lash if she wants, although... I'm thinking that Senegalo is saving that anticipating there might be some Vulcans coming out behind this. I don't see any Vulcans queued up yet. We have our machine lab on the way. A couple of med techs. So Jay's positioned himself in the middle here. Maybe anticipating another Stormgate coming out. He's done some good harass, but hasn't like denied a base yet. Had a really good sort of battle there near the natural, but again, hard to see who came out on top there. Supply-wise, Jay is ahead just a wee bit. That's usually a good sign for a Vanguard player in this matchup. He's healed up most of his hedgehogs and he's rolling back around here, but finds that Senegalo is well positioned here, and one of his hedgehogs goes down to a lash. Hellborn trying to make a little extra space here. Hellborn were better at chopping trees before when they had the splash.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
So Jay getting a good idea on this Stormgate here, trying to move into a good position, but we're seeing that Senegalo looks like he wants to contest. His Weavers here are going to help him be a more dangerous army. He's got 3 out, a couple Hellborn as well. Now, because Jay won the first Stormgate, that means this tug-of-war goes in the favor of Senegalo. He also seems to have more DPS, so he's just going to easily take out that Stormgate. What's he going to grab? Hedgehog's rolling. We got a Vile Lurker. Hedgehog's trying to come up and snipe it. Oh, very nice. Well done. One Hedgehog goes down for the price, but that was definitely worth it for Jay to snipe the Lurker before he even got a single shot off. Jay pulls out his Hedgehogs and sends them forward. You notice how he's left some of his other units back home. They are going to get a few Gaunts here before a few Hedgehogs do go down for the price. Not sure that was great for Jay. I think when you do something like that, you want the Hedgehogs not to run into the army. You want them to be able to get in behind and maybe harass some buildings. A couple nanoswarms going down. We also have sentinels above. See what they'll be used for. Maybe for some sentry drones. Stasis drones rather. And then we see 1, 2 going down. Sentinel returning to hangar after taking some damage. Another Sentinel doing some taking, also returning to hangar. I think JXP sort of let them stay there as tanks up above the army for a wee bit. Once they get their stasis drone down, there's not much more active for them to do. They do have a passive ability. And this is pretty good harass coming down on the army, killing a couple Hellborns and a Weaver there. That's exactly what Jay wants. Pick off some of those expensive units, the units that are going to be doing their best to counter his army. Although we're getting high on the Hellborn count, and that's good for Senegalo. You want to get to a point where you can have a good number of Hellborn that might start one-shotting Vulcans and such to really nullify things like the Nanoswarm or servo healing or repair-matic, things like that. Hedgehogs come in, try and get a little snipe. They do get an effigy and go for a tribute pyre before pulling back, not wanting to take damage. Lots of Vulcans added. Medtechs here. We're up to 3 Sentinels above for Jay. But also, Senegalo is, like I said, building a high-tech army here. Lots of Hellborn, which are going to be great against those Vulcans. 3 Weavers, also good against the Vulcans. And the Vulcans are the bulk of this army here. You take them out, and you pretty much win the fight. You might win the battle, win the war. And even some Shadow Flyers above.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Those will help with the Sentinels, but this army is coming around behind. Killed the tribute pyre. Now moving into a nice position for the battle, actually. Trying to make sure he's in more concave. Stasis drones going down on the Weavers, but they are also being targeted down. This Weaver gets stuck in the stasis for a while. We're also going down. Half the army's up here. And it looks like the battle has turned to a battle for this base as both armies move up into the high ground here. But Senegalo is going to pull back, even pulling back his workers here, not wanting them to go down to that Vulcan AoE. Instead, sacrificing the base, coming out to try and take out a few wandering reinforcements, and indeed gets a Vulcan for free. But Jay's moving back to the Wellspring, and looks like Senegalo might want to engage him there. No, he's pulled back. Jay rotating around. Maybe going to go for the Stormgate. That would be an interesting choice. After taking out a base. Here come some Spriggans to return the favor. And Jay is going to turn back around and try and deal with the Spriggans. They're a nice maneuverable force, and they've already taken out a bunch of servos there. Here comes some Sentinels with some stasis drones. Very nice. That's a good way to catch these fast-moving units. But now he's going to have to siege up under them. Oh, you're just going to let them... No, okay. They do come out of stasis, and they might get away here. It's interesting that it's just medtechs firing at them and able to still take them out. And that's largely because Spriggans are very, very squishy. This one Hornet. Oh! Did actually do a good job there. Usually you send one unit and it's not good, but when you can sack a bunch of Shadow Flyers on it, I think 3 or 4 Shadow Flyers impacted on it. Good way to deal with some of that anti-air. Now Jay's almost maxed, and this is looking like a fairly scary army here. Very nice composition, lots of different units. The only thing he's really missing is a Hurricane or 2, I think. But the Hornets are a really nice air force to add. Protect the Sentinels. Also, Hornets are just probably one of the best air units in the game. And here we go. Once again, pulling over here to this far right side, which I think is good for him, in part because it lets him spread his army out in a little bit of a concave here. Now, half his army's on the high ground, half on the low. Senegalo doing the great job of trying to do that as well, but now pulling his army back. Half his army was not fighting while his other half was engaged up on the high ground. Likewise for Jay, half his army was standing in the back just watching, and now they've moved forward. We hear the Hellborn going down on the high ground. As the low ground army, we see Jay's army slowly pushing forward. Jump jets forward, more Spriggans and Gaunts showing up here. Will it be enough here? The Hellborn on the high ground still putting tons of punishing damage down on the Vulcans. And we're seeing so many Vulcans go down here. Will Senegalo be able to defend here? I'm not certain. The Sentinels above still dropping stasis drones, taking out those punishing Hellborn for now. And now they're going to focus fire the Hellborn down. And Jay seems to get the upper hand, and Senegalo believes that too, as he calls GG in this game.